So our next speaker is we have Jen and Glenn Scharf, who are kind of neighbors. I'm not sure if 4 hours puts us 4 hour separation puts us as kind of neighbors, or they are uh, they are truly a dynamic and amazing couple, and I'm glad to see that they're part of StutterFest this year. So please help me in welcoming Jen and Glenn Scharf.
Oh, Tom, thank you so much. And I, I would absolutely consider us neighbors. So, hi everybody. I'm Jen, and I'm so happy to be here with you all. Um, and Glenn and I wanted to be here today because we've been married for about 23 years, and we we have 3 kids. We have been through our ups and downs um, throughout 23 years. Some of it about stuttering, some of it not about stuttering, and we just thought that it was something we could share with you today. So we want to talk about stuttering, but more importantly, we want to talk about how we show up for each other in life, and what and whether someone stutters or not, we we all want to be seen, we all want to be heard, and we all want to be understood. So we're going to take you on a little journey. We're gonna talk about stuttering, hopefully have some humor and different ways to support people who stutter.
Thanks, Jen. I am Glenn. I am Jen's husband. And while I am not a person who stutters, I am an ally of stuttering. And I love learning about stuttering, especially from my wife. Over the next 20 minutes, we hope to give you insight, encouragement, and as Jen said, some humor for people who stutter and people who care about someone who stutters, and anyone who values authentic communication. Jen and I will ask each other a few questions, and then hopefully, if there's time, we will open up for any questions that you might have for us. Jen, is it
So we're
time
gonna
for?
so we're gonna start with a video, and it's going to either teach us and or remind us that sometimes the best support we can offer is just to listen to each other.
Sure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there.
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing.
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
No, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See, you're
out.
not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just, sometimes it's like there's this achy, I don't know what. I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
It froze. Hello. It froze.
on. If you would just don't.
It froze. Glenn,
Yes.
you can't see it.
Well, were you able to watch the
Did you
video?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Let me start it over.
We could see the beginning of it.
Sorry about that. Let's play it again.
It's just
How about now? Can you see that?
No, not yet.
Mm-mm.
you know, yeah, sometimes it feels like it's right up on me. And
There we go.
I can just feel it.
All right, here
Okay.
we go.
It's
Okay,
just-
thank you.
There's all this pressure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me. And I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head. And it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there.
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing.
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
See, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See, you're
out.
not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just sometimes it's like there's this achy, I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
That sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. If you would just.
Don't.
Try to see things my way.
The video is funny, I think, because it's true and real. And I think that the takeaway from it is that listening without fixing or without finding us a solution can be very powerful, especially with someone who stutters. So Glenn and I wanted to kind of do a back and forth where we could ask each other a couple questions, and then we like to open it up for any questions from the group. So Glenn, what would you say is the most important thing that you've learned about stuttering or about people who stutter since we've been married?
That's a great question. I have learned so much about stuttering and people who stutter. I would say one of the things that I've learned the most is listening without interrupting, and having patience. And that's not just for people who stutter, but in general, it's helped me understand that in life and in all communications. I think that I've learned. I've learned really that patience is so important, and just like the video, listening, and there are different ways to listen and different ways to react. Jen, what would you say the most helpful thing that I've done to support you as a person who stutters in our marriage?
Yeah, and that's an easy answer for me. It's listen. Definitely listening. And I would say that also along with that, you have never thought that I was not capable of doing something because I stutter.
Great, thank you. And what is the least helpful?
When you used to talk for me, or when I made you talk for me a long time ago, or I made you make make phone calls for me.
Yeah. Those
Yeah.
sometimes go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that always led to some sort of an argument because it wasn't said exactly as I wanted to, or it wasn't the right thing, or so it always turned into something.
Yeah,
So
and that
uh, yeah, so um has being with me changed ever changed how 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 you advocate or how you support others who communicate differently?
um absolutely, it has made me very aware and more aware that everyone has differences, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. One recent occurrence where I advocated for people who stutter in kind of a different way. I was in Texas at a conference, and the person who was speaking, there was a room full of about 150 people. She was trying to emphasize making money, and she kind of purposely um, stuttered on the word billion. And I knew that she was not making fun of stuttering, but it made me feel uncomfortable. And I did not know if someone in the room was a person who stuttered or knew someone who stuttered. So through the rest of her presentation, I thought, how can I best address this? Because she gives a lot of presentations, and I didn't want to have her potentially offend someone else. Um, she happened to be the leader of the organization. So afterwards, I just went up to her very calmly and I said, you gave a wonderful presentation, but I have a question for you. Have you ever met someone who stutters? And she looked at me, and I just very clearly said to her, when you emphasize that word, I took offense to it. And in case you're ever presenting where there is someone who stutters in the room, I wanted you to be aware of it. And I had no idea how she was going to react. She hugged me, she thanked me, she apologized. And all through the rest of the conference, every time she saw me, she thanked me again. So I learn every day, and I love learning, as I mentioned, from you, Jen, but also being able to put that in practice and maybe help someone feel more comfortable in that situation was my goal. Um, so, Jen, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about stuttering, and how has that shown up in our marriage?
Yeah, so I mean there's a lot of things that I wish people knew about stuttering. But I think how frustrating it can be for a person who stutters to not be able to express themselves in the way that they would really want to. And then as as I mentioned earlier, like a long time ago when you used to talk for me a lot or make telephone calls and essentially be my voice a lot of the time. Um, Whether it was, phone calls or it was like ordering in restaurants or ordering at the coffee shop. Um, but I would get really mad at at you, it would come out. My anger would more come towards you, my frustration, because you didn't say like the the right thing or something. And but I was really disappointed and mad in myself because I wouldn't talk because I was scared. So, yeah. And were you worried that our kids would stutter?
That's a great question.
We
Something
have 3 kids.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that we've talked about over the years. No, it never was a worry. It never crossed my mind. Um, I've learned from you and from others that stuttering doesn't define you, and I knew that if our kids did stutter, it would not define them, and they have the greatest role model as a person who stutters and a speech language pathologist. So no, I was not worried at all. Not one bit. Jen, do we have time for one last question, or would you like to open it up for any questions?
We have time, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So final question for you, Jen. If you can go back and tell your younger self anything about love and stuttering, what would that be?
Yes. So that would be to trust others, trust people that you love and that who love you. Um, don't hide stuttering from them. People who love you don't care that you stutter, even people who don't love you don't really care that much. But people who love you and that you love, they love to hear your voice. I've learned that with our kids for sure. And how it comes out is not important. What you say is. So that was all of our questions for us. So we wanted to open it up and see if anybody had any thoughts or questions or comments.
Could I ask a question, please? Jen, Glenn, thank you for the presentation. As someone who stutters, letting someone in terms of love, in terms of being a couple, what you said about how Glenn would speak for you and you would get mad at him because he didn't say it exactly like you wanted him to, which of course he can't because he's not you, is something I can really relate to. But one thing I've always struggled with is having a stutter and letting someone in authentically, lowering your shields. And was it a case that had happened over time? Is it a case that you meet the right person? Is it a case of really being very clear when you meet someone? I've got a stutter. These are kind of quirks, special needs I may have. I don't want to use that term special needs because it's not, but does it make sense what I'm asking? How to essentially let someone in and find that right balance in a relationship with a fluent and non-fluent speaker?
That is such a great question. And I'm going to be totally honest here. I never had anybody in my life support me with the stuttering until I met Glenn. So I didn't know how to let him in. I didn't know how to let somebody support me. Even though I went through undergrad and graduate school in speech therapy, just personally, I had very close friends, but I never talked about stuttering with them. And then I also think during that time in my life, like that college and graduate school time, I was very fluent. I didn't stutter like outwardly a lot. I was definitely covert, but I had a lot of fluency for a very long stretch. So Glenn was truly the first person that I would really opened up to about it. So I didn't know how to do it. So we definitely went through a lot of bumps and other things, and it took time. It took time. It took for me speaking up and telling him what was helpful and what was not helpful. And I think that that's key. Just like a small example of that. When I stuttered, Glenn would always take his hand and like put it right like here. Like if he was standing next to me or he was standing um behind me. Whenever he did that, he thought that that was really helpful, right? Like kind of like signaling I'm here, right? But I hated it. It made me feel very kind of small and weak, and that kind of pity thing, like, oh, like it's okay kind of thing. But it took me a while to be able to like say to him, when you do that, I know that you feel like you're helping, but it's not helping. And then that stopped and then it got better. So I really think being able to be honest with yourself and also with the other person is very helpful.
Robert, I just want to touch on that for a brief second from my perspective. The fact that Jen stuttered wasn't part of the equation when I met her and fell in love with her. It just wasn't. She is a person. She's an individual who happens to be a person who stutters. I had met one person in my life in elementary school who stuttered, and we were not allowed to talk about it. I mean, no one talked about it. So I didn't know anything about stuttering. And again, it wasn't relevant to me. I fell in love with the person who Jen is because of, without it, it did not matter to me.
Cool. Thank you both. Those were great answers.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank